Let me ask you a question. Have you ever started a project that you were really excited about? It could be a project, a business, a new venture, a new project at work, a new project at home, a new hobby, anything, but it was brand new and you were so excited. You really got into it. But sooner or later, you just kind of petered out. Sooner or later, you just didn't have the energy it took to keep on going. Maybe before the project was ended, maybe before you fulfilled your vision, but you just didn't have it. You just didn't have that same love, that same excitement. You stopped. Why? Well, in a minute, you're going to find out why, but I have another question for you. In 1987, it's over 30 years ago, Bill Gates became a billionaire. A billionaire. Now that is $1,000 million bills. He became a billionaire. He could have virtually anything in the world he wanted to buy, you name it. And he bought a lot. And yet, for the next 30 years, he went to work every day. Why? Why does a billionaire keep going to work? When most people, if they even had a few million in the bank, they think they'd stop working. Jeff Bezos, the richest man in America, worth over $160 billion after giving $30 billion to his ex-wife. Think about that. And yet Jeff goes to work every single day. He owns Amazon, if you aren't familiar with his name. How about Elon Musk? He's worth over $125 billion and more than that. And he goes to work every day. Why do billionaires keep going to work? Oprah Winfrey was a billionaire pretty early on in her career, and yet she kept doing her show every single day. And I have filmed shows. I have written and directed and filmed shows. I know it is draining. Typically, my production weeks, I would spend 12 to 18 hours a day working. And yet Oprah just kept doing it after the billion. Why? Well, you see, these people have a fuel that is critically important. Now, Wernher von Braun was our chief rocket scientist. And when he was commissioned by JFK to put a man on the moon within 7 years or 8 years, von Braun was shocked. He ended up partnering with over 35,000 engineers to make it happen. And they built a rocket called the Saturn V. The Saturn V was over 33 stories high. 33 stories. Its engines had more than 7.5 million pounds of thrust, enough thrust to lift a stack of 3,500 automobiles off the launching pad. It was the most complex piece of machinery ever created by man. Nothing has ever even nearly approached it. And yet, it would have never left the launching pad without the right kind of fuel. Doesn't matter how powerful those engines were, without the right kind of rocket fuel, it would have just sat there. Okay? Now, just so you know how amazing you are, every cell in your body, every single cell, you have 60 trillion of them, is more complex than the Saturn V. It has more systems working in harmony and simultaneously than a Saturn V rocket. I mean, is that crazy? You think God gave you that? You think He gave you a brain more powerful, more complex than any group of computers ever created, so you could just be mediocre and achieve mediocrity? No, you're more complex than the Saturn V. You got the world's most powerful computer inside of your head. You've got the world's most powerful pump inside your chest. You were built for purpose and for achievement. And but do you have the right kind of fuel? And do you keep that machine fueled? Well, obviously, we need the right kind of nutrition and liquid and so on, oxygen, to fuel ourselves. But as far as fueling our achievement, there's only one fuel that works, and it's the rocket fuel for super achievers. It's called passion. Now, we all know people who are incredibly passionate. You would have to say Oprah, Bill Gates, Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos. If you ever saw them, they are incredibly passionate people. I have known a number of billionaires, not very many, but a couple, and they are incredibly passionate from the time they get a vision. And for most of them, they were broke when they got their vision. But before you knew it, they were billionaires. Why? They had this passion that they gained. Most people think you're born with it. Most people would say, yeah, Steven Spielberg, he's really passionate. Look at the movies he's turned out. Look at the billions and billions of dollars that his movies has made. He's a multi-billionaire. And he's my age. I went to high school with him. So he's in his 70s now, just like I am. But when we were in high school together, he was in the band, I was in the color guard, and I didn't sense a passion in him. He was kind of a mediocre to negative student in the sense that he didn't get good grades. But he did have a passion. From the 6th grade forward, he had a passion about making movies, okay? And I didn't have any passion at the time. I later gained a passion. But the question is, what can people that aren't naturally born with passion, how can we gain that kind of passion to what? To fuel our achieving of our visions. Okay? So if your vision is a personal vision for your children, for your parenting, for your marriage, for your relationships, for your relationship with God, for projects, a career, a business, whatever you have a passion for, or don't have a passion for, but whatever you want to achieve, how can you bring passion into that? Do you know the single most passionate person I ever met was a man in Houston Airport. And you know what he did every single day? He slaved over a hot barbecue stove. And this man was amazing. You'd see all these other restaurants in the food court, and they'd have a few people here and a few people here. But around this little barbecue place, it was a crowd. It would be, when I saw him, it was at least 200 people crowded around him. And it wasn't because of the smell of the barbecue. It wasn't because of the taste. This guy could really sing. And as he's making his barbecue, he would be singing about it. I think he was missing a tooth or two. I watched this man for maybe 15 minutes, and he blew me away. His passion for what he did made that barbecue place the most successful in the food court. And that normally it doesn't happen, because I've been in hundreds of airports, and I'll tell you, I've never seen anything like this. And so he had brought passion into his work. And you know what it did? It not only made his company successful, not only made him successful, because he got big tips, but it made him happy. He was happy. You can't have that kind of passion without being happy. So what is the secret of bringing passion into your life for the things that are important to you? You don't need passion for everything. I took up skiing when I was 41 years old. I enjoyed it. In fact, I loved it, but I didn't have a passion for it. Why? I didn't want to become a champion skier. I wanted the fun of skiing with my family. That's it, okay? That's what, and you don't need a lot of passion for that. On the other hand, for my work, which for 30 years was writing, directing, producing TV shows and TV commercials, working with big celebrities, to get through my days, because my days were always very long, I needed passion. Passion fueled my energy. Well, here's the good news. Passion only involves 3 ingredients, not 50, not 20, not 1, but 3. And when you have those 3 ingredients, you will gain passion. And you can gain passion for anything. With these 3 ingredients, a roofer in Phoenix in the summer can bring a passion to his work, okay? So if right now people are saying, oh, if you knew my job, if you knew my marriage, if you knew my husband, my wife, if you knew my problems here, you would say you can never have passion. No, I'd be a liar if I said you could never have passion. You can have it if you have these 3 ingredients. So I'm not going to tell you right now because we've already exhausted our little time, but I'm saying if you want to fuel your vision, you've got to have the right fuel. And passion is rocket fuel. Man, you put that rocket fuel in a dragster and you watch it take off. You know, you just do a little additive and poof, they're out of the gate and they blast off almost like a rocket. I've been in a jet fighter, and when he kicks in that afterburner, man, it feels like you're going supersonic and it feels like you're going straight up. And that's what we want to give you. We want to give you that kind of passion for any area of your life that's important. And because you're watching this, you're involved with NUMI, so I want you to use what you're going to learn in our very next session. You're going to learn how to bring passion into any area of your life, and hopefully you'll decide to bring it to your NUMI experience, your NUMI family, because we are a family at NUMI. We care about one another. We want each other to be successful. Zig Ziglar once said, anybody can be successful. All they have to do is make the people around them successful, and they can ride on top of their success. Ronald Reagan said, anybody can be successful as long as they don't care who gets the credit. And that's kind of us at NUMI. We don't care who gets the credit. We want everybody to raise the quality of life, the quality of their family, the quality of their relationships, because we're whole people. We're not just a business person. We're not just a family person. We're a whole person. We're emotional, mental, physical, and spiritual. And that's what we want here at NUMI. So in our next session, I'm going to give you all 3 of those ingredients. So we'll see you then.